A secret so dark, it could destroy a family forever. And a young girl who risked everything to uncover it. Imagine discovering that your own father sold your sister to pay off a debt. Something so shocking you'd never believe it's true. But this is exactly what happened in a family hiding lies that could have shattered them all. In this story, you'll see how one brave girl dared to expose the truth, fight for justice, and bring her sister back from the edge of despair. And wait, there's a twist that will change everything you thought you knew about loyalty and betrayal. This is a story of courage that will leave you inspired and questioning what secrets might be hiding in your own life. If you're ready for a roller coaster of shock, heartbreak, and hope, hit the like button now. Drop a comment and tell us, what's the most shocking family secret you've ever heard? And stay tuned, because the truth you're about to hear might just change everything. I woke up in a house that felt very quiet. I looked around my small room. Everything seemed normal, but I felt strange. My sister was not in her bed. I wondered where she was. I got up and looked out the window. The yard was empty. Usually, I saw her playing outside or reading in the sun. Today, she was gone. I went to the door and listened. I did not hear her voice or footsteps. I felt worried. I tried to ask my mother, but she just looked away and said, "Everything is fine." Her voice was soft, but scared. I looked at my sister's room. The door was a little different. The big picture on her wall was taken down. Her desk was clean. Her bed was made neatly. I thought, that's strange. Why is her room so quiet? I remembered last night, I heard my mother talking softly to my father. I could not hear everything, but I caught some words. They said things about money and a deal. I wondered what they meant. Then I saw something strange. In the corner of the attic, I saw a dusty box. It was old and covered in cobwebs. I had never opened it before. I felt a little afraid, but I wanted to know what was inside. I slowly went up to the attic stairs. I was careful. When I opened the box, I saw many old papers, photos, and a small torn letter. I looked at the pictures. Some showed my sister when she was little. She was smiling and happy, but then I saw a photo of a man I didn't recognize. He looked serious and mean. I looked at the letter. It was written in messy handwriting. It said something about a debt and a secret deal. My heart beat faster. I felt my stomach tighten. I thought, what does this mean? Did my family sell my sister? I also found a small box of her belongings, a tiny bracelet, a favorite toy, and a photo of her with me. My eyes filled with tears. I knew she was somewhere far away, maybe against her will. That day, I felt a strange mix of sadness and anger. I wanted to find her. I wanted to know the truth. I could not stay quiet anymore. Later that night, I sat quietly in my room. I found an old, silent phone on my desk. It was dusty, but still worked. I picked it up and listened. Suddenly, I heard a faint ringing. I froze. I looked at the phone. It was ringing. I looked around to see if anyone was watching. I took a deep breath and answered. My voice was small and unsure. I said, "Hello?" On the other side, I heard a voice. It was deep and strange. The voice warned me to be careful. It said, "You are in danger. Stop asking questions." My heart pounded. I knew I could not stop now. I felt a little brave. I decided I had to do something. I had to find my sister and the truth. That night, I made a plan. I would wait for my family to sleep. Then, I would escape from the house. I would go somewhere safe and ask for help. I knew it was risky, but I could not stay silent anymore. The next morning, I woke up early. I looked out the window again. I saw the sky was cloudy. My family was still asleep. I took a small bag with some food and my favorite toy. I moved quietly to the door. I opened it slowly. My heart was beating fast. I listened. No one was awake. I tiptoed past the stairs and out of the house. I felt cold air on my face. Outside, I ran to the neighbor's house. I knocked loudly. An old woman answered. I told her everything. I said, "My sister is gone. I found some clues in the attic. I think my family sold her. Please help me." The old woman looked worried. She called the police. Soon, police officers arrived. They listened carefully. They looked at the clues I gave them. They promised to help find my sister and stop the bad people. As I sat outside with the officers, I felt a small hope. Maybe now the truth would come out. Maybe my sister would be safe again. That was the first step. I knew I could not stay silent anymore. I had to keep fighting to find my sister and make things right. The house behind me was full of secrets, but I was ready to face the truth. I was brave enough to try. This was just the beginning. I didn't know everything yet, but I knew one thing. I would never give up. I woke up feeling nervous. Last night, I ran away from the house. I told the neighbor everything I knew. The police came. They started to ask questions. I felt a small hope that maybe someone would help me find my sister. I stood outside, wrapped in my coat. The street was quiet. The sun was just rising. My heart was heavy, but I also felt brave. I knew I had done something important. I wanted to keep going, to find my sister. My head was full of worries. What if I was wrong? What if I made things worse? But I also felt a strong desire to know the truth. I had to find her. I had to know what really happened. The police talked to me again. They asked where I was last night. I told them about the house, about the attic, about the silent phone. They listened carefully. I saw their serious faces. I knew they believed me. After a while, a police officer gently said, "We will look into this. We want to find your sister too." His words made me feel a little better. Maybe I was not alone. I decided to visit my neighbor again. She was kind. She listened to me carefully and promised she would help. She said, "Stay safe. Don't go back to the house. We will figure this out together." I nodded. I knew I had to stay careful. The house was still dangerous. My family might be hiding something. I was tired, but also ready to keep searching. I didn't want to wait at home. I thought about the clues I found yesterday. The dusty attic box, the torn letter, the strange objects in my sister's room. I remembered the photo I saw. My sister's face looked sad and scared. I decided to sneak back into the house, not to stay, just to look around again. I had to find more clues. I needed proof that my sister was in danger. I wanted to understand what my family was hiding. Carefully, I walked to the house. The door was shut, but not locked. I moved quietly. Inside, everything looked the same. The furniture, the quiet, the strange feeling of hiding secrets. I went into my sister's room. It looked normal from outside, but I knew better. The bed was made, but the walls felt heavy. I looked around. Suddenly, I saw something new. An old box under her desk. I pulled it out carefully. The box was dusty and heavy. I opened it slowly. Inside, I found some papers, photos, and a small, torn piece of fabric. I looked at the photos. One showed my sister and a man I didn't know. They looked serious. Another was a letter, torn in half, with only part of the words left. The words were hard to read, but I understood enough. It talked about a debt and a deal. I felt cold. This wasn't just about missing school or a trip. It was something much darker. Then I saw something strange. Hidden behind the papers, I found a small key. It looked old but important. I wondered what it opened. Maybe a safe, or a box, or even a secret door. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. I froze. Someone was coming. My heart pounded. I quickly shut the box and hid it behind a pillow. I tried to look normal. The door opened, and I saw my mother. She looked worried. She said, "What are you doing here? You shouldn't be in her room." Her voice was tense. "I just wanted to see if she left anything behind," I said softly. She looked at me for a moment. Her eyes were sad. "Come on, we should go outside," she whispered. We went into the yard. She looked around nervously. I knew she was hiding something. Maybe she was scared, or maybe she was part of everything. After she left, I stayed behind a little longer. I looked at the small key again. I clutched it tight. I knew I had to find out what it was for. I needed more clues. As I walked back outside, I thought about my sister. I wondered where she was right now. Was she scared? Was she safe? I promised myself I would do everything I could to find her and bring her home. Even though I was scared too, I felt stronger. I couldn't stop now. The truth was hiding somewhere in that house, and I would find it, no matter what it took. I woke up early the next day. The house felt quiet and heavy. I knew I had to do more. I had found the key last night. Now I wanted to find out what it opened. I tiptoed out of my room and looked around. My parents were still sleeping. Or at least pretending to. I gently moved through the house. I didn't want to make any noise. My heart was beating fast. I wondered if I should wait or look now. Finally, I remembered the small safe in the closet. I had seen it once before. It was hidden behind a big mirror on the wall. I had not been allowed to open it, but now I had the key. Maybe it was for that safe. I carefully opened the closet door and looked at the mirror. I pushed it aside and saw a small metal box. It was old and rusty, but the lock looked just right for the key I found. I took a deep breath and put the key into the lock. I turned it slowly. The safe clicked open. Inside, I saw some papers, a small bag, and a photograph. The papers were old. They looked like documents or bills. I couldn't read all of it because the handwriting was strange. But one paper caught my eye. It had a name and a number. I read it carefully. It looked like a debt. My dad had written it down. I felt a little sick. He owed money to someone dangerous. I looked at the small bag. I gently opened it and found some money, more than I expected. I wondered if this was part of the debt, or maybe money my dad was hiding. Then I looked at the photograph. It was of my sister. She was in a strange place. She looked tired and scared. She was holding a small doll. I felt my throat tighten. She wasn't far away. She was somewhere she didn't want to be. I put everything back as it was. I knew I had to be careful. I couldn't let anyone catch me. I clutched the photo and the papers close. Now I understood more. My dad had made a deal with a dangerous man. He had sold my sister to pay a debt. That fact made me feel angry and sad. I sat down on the floor, holding the photo tight. I had seen enough for now. I needed help. I had to tell someone who could stop this. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It had been silent all morning. I looked at it, confused. I picked it up and answered quietly. The line was crackling, but I heard a voice. "Listen carefully," the voice said. "You're in danger. Be very careful. Don't trust anyone at home." I froze. My stomach twisted. Who was this? Was it someone who wanted to help? Or was it a trap? "I need help," I whispered back. "My sister is in trouble. I found some papers. My dad sold her." There was a pause. Then the voice said, "You did the right thing. Stay safe. We're watching. Be ready to run." My heart pounded. I didn't know if I could trust this voice, but I knew I had to act fast. I looked around and saw the door to the backyard. Maybe I could leave and find someone who could help. I took a deep breath. I couldn't stay here and wait. I decided I would run away today. I would find my neighbor or the police. I would tell the truth. I couldn't let my sister stay with those bad men. I quietly slipped out of the house and went to the neighbor's house. I knocked softly. An older woman opened the door. "I need help," I said. "My sister is in danger. My family isn't safe." She looked surprised, but listened carefully. I told her everything I had found. She nodded and told me she would call the police. While I waited outside, I felt a little scared, but also brave. I was doing the right thing. I was fighting for my sister. Soon, the police arrived. They listened to my story and looked at the papers I gave them. They promised to help find my sister and catch the bad men. Later that day, the police came to arrest my dad and grandmother. They found more evidence. The truth was coming out. I felt tired but also hopeful. I knew this was just the beginning. There was still a lot to do. But now, I was no longer alone. I had helped start the fight to bring justice. That night, I looked at my sister's picture again. I whispered, "You're safe now. We will find a way to bring you home." I felt a small spark of hope inside me. Even though I was scared, I knew I had done something very brave. I had uncovered a terrible secret, and I had taken a big step towards saving my sister and ending the darkness in our house. Tomorrow, I would keep fighting. I wouldn't stop until my sister was free and our family was finally honest. And I promised myself I would never stay silent again. The truth was strong, and I was going to make sure everyone knew it. I woke up early on the fourth day after I started my plan. I felt a strange mix of fear and hope. I knew I had to be brave. I looked around my small room, trying to think clearly. My heart was pounding. I was going to do something big today. I took a deep breath. I remembered the silent phone that had rung the night before. I still couldn't believe it. Someone had called me, and I had answered secretly. The voice was quiet but serious. It told me to be careful and said there was danger. That made me even more sure I had to act now. I looked for my small bag. I packed some clothes, a little food, and the tiny flashlight I kept in my drawer. I wanted to be ready. I had to leave the house quietly and find help. I tiptoed out of my room and into the hall. Everything looked still. I moved slowly, trying not to make any noise. I knew my family was suspicious. I had to be quick. When I reached the front door, I paused. I looked outside. It was still dark, but getting lighter. I saw the street was quiet, just a few cars in the distance. I took a deep breath. Today was the day I was going to escape and find someone to help us. I slipped out the door and closed it softly behind me. My legs felt shaky, but I kept walking. I knew I had to go to the neighbor's house. That was my plan. They were kind and honest. I trusted them. As I walked down the street, I looked around. I saw the familiar houses, the trees, and the empty sidewalk. I remembered what the voice said. I had to be brave and careful. When I reached the neighbor's house, I quietly knocked on the door. An old lady answered. She looked surprised when she saw me. I whispered, "Please, can I come in? I need help. My family is in trouble." She looked at me with kind eyes. "Of course," she said softly. "Come inside." I went into her cozy living room. I told her everything about my sister, the secret deal, the strange things I found, and the warning phone call. I saw her face change from surprise to worry. She held my hand. "I will call the police right now," she said. "You are very brave to tell me this." I felt a little better. I knew I wasn't alone anymore. The police would help us. While we waited, I looked out the window. My heart was still pounding, but I felt strong. I knew I had done the right thing. I was finally going to get help for my sister and stop the lies and secrets in my family. Soon, the police arrived. They listened carefully to what I told them. They looked at the clues I gave them, like the key I found and the notes from the attic. One officer said, "We will find your sister. We will bring her home, and we will arrest the people who did this." I felt hope shine inside me. Maybe, just maybe, things would get better now. That day was the start of a new journey. I left the house that kept so many secrets. I told the truth. I was scared, but I was also brave. I knew I had to do this to protect my sister and to make things right. As the police took notes and planned their next steps, I looked at my new friend, the kind neighbor, with a small smile. I was ready for what came next. I knew I had taken a big step, and I wouldn't stop until everything was clear and everyone was safe. This was only the beginning. My fight for the truth had just begun. I stand outside the house, looking around nervously. My heart beats fast. I just ran away because I knew I had to do something. Inside, my family is still there. But I am safe for now, with Mrs. Lopez, my neighbor. She is kind and listening carefully as I tell her everything I found out. I feel tired, but also a little brave. I know I cannot stay quiet anymore. I have to find my sister and stop the bad things my family did. I look at Mrs. Lopez and say, "Please, help me. I need to find my sister." Mrs. Lopez nods gently. "I will help you," she says. "We will call the police and tell them everything." I feel a small hope inside. Maybe now something will change. Maybe my sister will be safe again. The police come quickly. They listen to what I tell them. I show them the clues I found. The dusty attic box, the silent phone, the torn letter, and the little key. They look at everything carefully. One officer asks, "Did you see where your sister might be?" I shake my head. I don't know exactly, but I found her belongings in the attic, and I think she is somewhere close, maybe kept against her will. The officer frowns. "We will find her. We will find out the truth." I feel a little stronger. I know I did something brave. I told the police everything I knew. Now they can help. Later, I sit with Mrs. Lopez. I feel nervous, but also hopeful. I think about my sister. I wonder if she is afraid or if she is waiting for someone to rescue her. Suddenly, my phone rings. I look at it closely. It is a number I don't recognize. My hands shake a little. I hesitate. Then I answer. A quiet voice speaks on the other side. Be careful. They might hear you. Stay hidden and be ready to move. My heart pounds. Who is calling? How do they know I am trying to find my sister? I listen carefully. I don't say much. I just say, thank you. I will be careful. When I hang up, I feel more scared, but also more determined. Someone is trying to help me. Someone wants me to be safe. Mrs. Lopez looks at me and says, "Who was that?" I shake my head. I don't know, but someone is watching out for us. I know I cannot go back home now. My family is dangerous. I have to keep moving and find my sister. That night, I lie in Mrs. Lopez's guest room. I look at the ceiling and think about what I need to do next. I want to rescue my sister. I want to stop the lies and the evil. I know it will not be easy, but I also know I cannot stay quiet anymore. Tomorrow, I will think of a plan. I will find the right moment to keep searching. I will not give up. I close my eyes and breathe deeply. I am tired but ready. I will keep fighting for my sister. I will not let the darkness win. In my heart, I feel a small spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, I can make things right. Maybe the truth will finally come out, and maybe my sister will be free again. I wake up early the next morning. The sun is just coming over the rooftops. I feel tired, but I know I have to keep going. I am staying with Mrs. Lopez, a kind woman who helped me escape from my house. She gave me a safe place to rest. But I can't stay still. I need to find my sister. Mrs. Lopez looks at me carefully. "Are you okay?" she asks softly. "I'm okay," I say, even though I feel nervous. "I need to keep looking for her." She nods. "Be careful. Things are still dangerous." I hold her hand for a moment. I know she cares. I take a deep breath. My mind is full of questions. Where is my sister? Is she safe? Will I find her today? I decide to start by visiting the police. They are working hard, and I want to tell them what I know. I put on my coat and say goodbye to Mrs. Lopez. I promise I'll be careful. I walk quickly down the street. The police station is not far. When I get there, I see a few officers sitting at desks. I walk up to one officer I trust. His name is Officer Martinez. "Hi," I say softly. "I have more information about my sister. I think she is still in danger." Officer Martinez looks at me kindly. "That's good. We are trying to find her." "Did you find anything new?" I nod. I tell him about the clues I found: the dusty attic, the secret documents, and the phone call with warnings. I tell him about the strange photos and the letter I saw in the attic. He listens carefully. "You did a brave thing to escape and tell us. We will look for her everywhere." Just then, another officer comes over. "We have news," he says. "The people we are looking for are afraid. They are hiding, but we are close to finding out where your sister is." I feel a little stronger. Maybe I am helping. Maybe we will find my sister soon. After talking to the officers, I feel tired but hopeful. I want to do more. I remember the little key I found. It was in my pocket. I wonder if it can open a door or a safe. I thank the officers and leave the station. I decide to go back to the house where I last saw my sister's things. I want to look around again. Maybe I missed something important. When I reach the house, I see that the door is locked. I look for a way inside. I find a small window near the back. It is slightly open. Carefully, I climb through. Inside, everything looks different. The house feels empty and cold. I move quietly from room to room. I check my sister's old room. It is now empty. The bed is made neatly. The walls are bare. But then I notice something. On the floor near the closet, I see a small piece of paper. I pick it up. It has a name and an address written on it. The handwriting is shaky, as if someone was in a hurry. I realize this might be the place where my sister is kept. I feel a rush of hope. I tuck the paper into my pocket. I need to act fast. I decide to go to that address. I don't want to go alone. I think about Mrs. Lopez. I call her on my phone, but it is silent. I remember the strange phone from before. I press the buttons again. Suddenly, my phone rings. I jump. I answer quickly. "Who is this?" I ask softly. A quiet voice answers. "Be careful. They know you are looking. Don't go alone. Stay safe." My heart pounds. Who is calling? How do they know I am trying to find my sister? I look around nervously. I realize I must be very careful now. I thank the voice and hang up. I know I can't tell anyone exactly what I am doing. I have to be brave and smart. I leave the house and walk toward the address on the paper. It is a quiet street. I see a small house at the end. The windows are dark. I take a deep breath and approach slowly. I see a man inside. He is sitting near the window, watching outside. He looks serious and dangerous. I hide behind a tree nearby, watching him. I must decide what to do. Should I try to talk to him? Should I find another way inside? I remember the key I have. Maybe it can open a door in that house. I quietly walk around the house to look for an entrance. I see a back door that is slightly open. I slip inside carefully. Inside, it is dark. I move quietly, listening for any sounds. I see a staircase and a door at the top. I climb the stairs slowly, trying not to make a noise. When I reach the top, I see a door. It is locked, but I have the small key from my pocket. I take it out and try to open the door. It fits. The lock turns, and I push the door open. Inside, I see a small room. There is a bed and some boxes. I look around carefully. In the corner, I see a girl lying on the bed. She is very thin and looks scared. It is my sister. "Do not make a sound," I whisper. I rush to her side and gently shake her. She opens her eyes and looks at me. She is surprised and confused. "Hey," I say softly, "it's me. We are getting out of here." Her eyes fill with tears. She is happy but still scared. I help her sit up. "We have to go now. Stay close to me." Suddenly, we hear footsteps. The man from downstairs comes into the room. He looks angry. "What are you doing here?" he growls. I stand in front of my sister. "We are leaving. You can't keep her here anymore." He steps closer, but I hold my ground. I know I have to be brave. Just then, I hear a loud knock at the door downstairs. The police. They have finally come. The man tries to stop us, but the door bursts open. Police officers rush inside. They shout, "Freeze!" The man backs away, hands raised. The police quickly arrest him. I hug my sister tight. We are finally safe. The police take us outside. I look at my sister's face. She is tired but free. I feel a small glow of hope inside me. We wait together, knowing that the nightmare is ending. Justice is starting, and I know, deep inside, that I was brave enough to find the truth and help my sister. That is how episode 6 ends. I felt a strange calm inside me. After all the trouble, after the danger, everything seemed to be quiet now. I was sitting in the small room at the police station. My sister was close by, wrapped in a warm blanket, sleeping softly. Her face looked tired, but I knew she was safe for the first time in a long while. The police had done their job. They had the evidence. The proof of what our father did. Our father was now in handcuffs, sitting in a dark room, waiting for his day in court. The grandmother was with us too, sitting nearby. She looked guilty and sad. The mother was crying quietly, her eyes filled with tears of regret. I looked around and took a deep breath. It was over, but I knew this was only the start of healing. I had helped bring justice. Still, I felt tired and heavy. My mind kept replaying everything that had happened. Just then, Detective Carter, the police officer who had helped us, came over. He smiled gently and looked at me with kind eyes. "Good job," he said softly. "You are very brave. You helped us find the truth." I nodded shyly. It was strange to hear those words. I never thought I would be called brave. I just wanted to know the truth and make it stop. "Can I see her?" I asked quietly. He nodded and gently led me to my sister. I sat beside her and took her small hand in mine. She looked up at me, her eyes still a little scared but also hopeful. "Everything is going to be okay now," I whispered. "You're safe. We are safe." My sister gave me a small, weak smile. It made my heart feel lighter. We had been through so much, but now we could begin to heal. The police stayed for a while, talking with the mother and grandmother. They explained what would happen next. The court would decide what punishment our father deserved. The police also promised to help us find a safe place to go, where we could feel protected and loved. I looked at everyone around me. I saw the tears, the sadness, but also a little hope shining through. I knew it would not be easy to forget everything. The pain was still there, deep inside, but I also knew that truth was now out in the open, and that was very important. As I sat there holding my sister's hand, I made a quiet promise to myself. I would never let secrets hide the truth again. I would always be brave and speak out when I saw injustice. Because sometimes, only truth can set us free. Later that day, the police took our father away. The house felt very still and empty after he left. The grandmother looked down, her face full of regret. The mother hugged us tightly and whispered, "I'm sorry." She looked so small and sad, but I could see she was trying to be strong. We stayed there until the police finished their work. Then a kind social worker came and took us to a safe place. It was a new house, full of hope and quiet. We could finally rest, knowing the worst was over. I sat beside my sister on the soft couch. We looked out the window at the bright sky. It felt strange to see the sun shining outside. It was as if the world was still turning, even after everything that had happened. I thought about the past, all the lies, the secrets, the pain. I remembered how scared I was, how I thought I might never find the truth. But I also thought about how brave I had become. I knew I couldn't change what happened, but I could choose what to do next. My sister leaned her head on my shoulder. I felt her trust and her hope. We might have lost a lot, but we still had each other, and now we had a new chance to be happy again. I looked at my sister and whispered, "We are finally free." She nodded quietly, her eyes shining just a little more. Outside, the world was waiting. A new day was beginning, and I knew in my heart that we would get through this, because the truth had come out, and that made everything different. As the sun set, I felt a strange mixture of tiredness and hope. I knew more challenges might come, but I also knew we were stronger now. We had faced the worst, and we had survived, and that was the most important thing. I woke up in a small, bright room. The house was quiet now. The police had taken the bad people away. My sister was safe. I felt a strange mix of feelings inside me, relief, tiredness, and a little fear. I looked around. The room was plain but comforting. A soft blanket was on her bed. She was lying there, still sleepy, but safe. I sat beside her and gently took her hand. She opened her eyes slowly. When she saw me, she smiled a little, but I saw sadness in her eyes. I wanted to hug her, but I didn't want to scare her. "Are you okay?" I asked softly. She nodded, but her voice was quieter than before. "I'm tired." I felt happy and scared at the same time. We had come so far, but I knew this was just the start of healing. Outside the room, I heard footsteps. It was Mrs. Lopez, our neighbor. She came in quietly. "You did very good," she said with a kind smile. "You were brave. You helped save your sister." I looked down. I wasn't sure if I felt brave or just lucky. Mrs. Lopez sat beside us. "The police will help your family now. The bad men are gone, but it might take time for everyone to feel better." My mom and grandma came into the room too. They looked tired and sad. Mom sat down and looked at us both. Her eyes were full of tears. "I am so sorry," she whispered. "I wish I had been braver. I was scared, but I see now that I should have protected you better." I wanted to tell her it was okay, but I didn't know what to say. We had all made mistakes. Still, hearing her say sorry made me feel a little better. Later that day, the police took my father and grandma away. The house was quiet. I knew they wouldn't come back. The people who hurt us were gone. My sister and I sat together. She was quiet, but I could see her starting to smile again. I held her hand tightly. "Things will get better," I told her. "We are safe now. We can start to heal." She looked at me and nodded. "I want to forget all the bad things. I want to be happy again." I nodded too. "Me too. We have each other. That's all we need." That night, I sat by her bed. I looked at her and thought about everything we had been through. It was hard, but I was glad we were together. I knew the road to feeling happy again wouldn't be easy. There would be sad days and good days, but I wanted to try. I looked out the window. The stars were shining bright. Maybe, just maybe, there was hope after all. In that quiet moment, I promised myself I would do everything I could to keep her safe, no matter what happened next. Because even after all the darkness, I believed in the light, and I believed in us. I woke up feeling tired, but relieved. The house was quiet now. The police had taken our father, grandmother, and the dangerous man away. They couldn't hurt us anymore. My sister was safe, and so were we. Still, I knew this was only the beginning. Things would never be the same. I looked at my sister. She was lying on the couch. Her eyes looked tired but peaceful. She was safe now, but I knew she still had pain inside her. I sat down next to her and took her hand gently. "Are you okay?" I asked softly. She nodded a little. "I think so," she whispered. "It feels good to be with you." I smiled. "We are going to get through this. We are safe now." I looked around the room. The house felt different. It was full of silence. The secrets were out. I remembered everything we found. Those dusty boxes, the strange room, the silent phone. I had been so brave to find the truth, but I knew that the biggest part was still ahead. We needed to heal. We needed to start new lives, free from all the lies. Just then, there was a knock at the door. It was Mrs. Lopez, our neighbor. She had been one of the few people who believed us and helped us. "I'm here," she said softly, coming inside. "You did so well. I knew you would find the truth." "I was scared," I said. "But I had to find out. I had to know what really happened." Mrs. Lopez smiled kindly. "You're very brave. You helped bring justice. Now it's time to rest and start healing." I looked at my sister. We both knew it would not be easy. There would be tears and sadness. But we also felt hope. Hope that someday we could forget the terrible things and find happiness again. Later that day, the police came back. They brought new clothes for us and took our father and the others away. They promised to stay close and help us rebuild our lives. I sat in a chair, watching everything happen. My mind was full of questions. Why did they do this? Why did our family hide the truth? I didn't have all the answers yet, but I knew one thing for sure. I wouldn't stay quiet anymore. I would speak out if I ever saw something wrong again. That night, I lay in bed next to my sister. She was quiet, but I could feel her breathing. I reached over and held her hand tight. "Promise me," I whispered, "that we will be okay, that we will find happiness again, no matter what." She looked at me and nodded. "I promise," she said softly. In that moment, I felt a small spark of hope. It was fragile, but it was there. We had been through so much pain. But now, we were starting to heal. The house was still, and the night was peaceful. For the first time in a long time, I believed that we could find a new beginning, a better future. I closed my eyes and made a quiet promise. I would never let anyone hurt us again. I would always fight for the truth and for love and safety. Tomorrow would be a new day, and for the first time, I felt ready to face it. I sit quietly in a new, safe house. It is quiet here. The worries and fears are still inside me, but I feel a little stronger. I have done something very brave. I helped find the truth. Now the police are here, and my family is in jail. The bad people who hurt us are no longer free. I look at my sister. She is sleeping peacefully in a small bed. She is safe now, but I know she still feels sad and scared deep inside. I hold her hand gently and softly say, "We are safe now. You are free. She opens her eyes and gives me a small, tired smile. I remember all the things we went through. The house was full of lies and secrets. Our father sold my sister to pay a debt. Our grandmother knew about it and didn't stop him. Our mother was afraid and stayed quiet. They all lied to hide the truth. But I didn't stay silent. I found a dusty attic box with old papers. I listened to the mysterious silent phone. I watched everything carefully. I made a plan. I ran away from home and asked for help. I told the police what I knew. Now I see justice happening. The police caught the bad man who took my sister. They took my father and grandmother to jail. The truth is out in the open. It is hard, but it is right. I look around and see the good people who helped us. Mrs. Lopez, our kind neighbor, was there for us. The police officers were brave and strong. They wanted to help us. My sister is still very tired, but I will take care of her. I want her to heal. I want us to become happy again. I promise her and myself that we will never be afraid or stay silent when something is wrong. We will speak out and find the truth. Every scar inside us is a reminder that evil exists, but so does courage. And courage is stronger than fear. We have fought hard for our freedom. Now we begin to build a new life, one with honesty, trust, and love. I take a deep breath and feel a small rush of hope. But dark days are not over. But now I know we can face anything. We are survivors, we are brave, and we are not alone. I look at my sister again. She is starting to trust me. We are together. We are beginning a new chapter, a chapter of healing and hope. Maybe someday all the pain will turn into strength. Maybe we will find happiness again. I hold her close and softly whisper, "We are free, we are safe, and we will never forget the truth." The house is quiet again. The past is behind us. The future is still unknown, but I believe in us. I believe in truth, in courage, and in hope. Because even in the darkest night, a small light can shine. And that light inside us is hope. And hope is the beginning of everything new. Everything new.